Hello, everyone. I am Verdel Jones, talk show host of Conversations with Verdel Jones. I am also the co-host of a family show called Let's Kick It with the Joneses, both on Rude Rangers Entertainment Network. You are watching Have You Heard, which is a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. And we are so excited that you joined us today. There's nothing better than great conversations with great friends, and that's what this show is all about. We hope our conversation will enlighten and inform and just empower you and uplift you to live the best life possible. Make sure that you share your comments in the chat section. We want to hear from you. We will definitely get back to you, so make sure you do that. And you also want to make sure that you like and share to all of your social media platforms so everybody can check out what we're talking about today. You can also see more of our shows and more great shows on ruderangers.com. So make sure you check that out. And again, we just are so happy to be here today. We're going to have a great conversation, and I can't wait to get started. I have the pleasure of being joined by just two fabulous, awesome women, my co-hosts, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. And we're going to start off with Coach Heidi K.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here today. Thank you for that intro, Verdel. I'm Heidi Krantz, Coach Heidi K. I'm a life and dating coach. I'm also the podcast host of Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. And I'm on the faculty of IPEC Coaching, training new coaches in this work that I do. And I'm excited to talk with all of you today.
Awesome. And last but not least, the fitter woman.
Hey fam, my name is Orlandina and I am the Fitter Woman. I'm a health coach and I'm also the executive producer and host of Muscles and Stilettos that you can find right here on the Rude Rangers Network. I'm also the founder of Fitter Woman University, which you guys will be hearing about soon. I'm so excited to be here with my ladies, my friends today, and excited to get into it. So what we got?
You know what? The more and more that we are, sitting here talking with each other, the more and more I just enjoy our conversations. And one of the things that I just had to bring up, because it's really has been a little troublesome for me, is hot flashes. Now, I know. I have my fan. So, I know you guys don't believe it, but I am of a certain age. And I have my fan with me all the time. It is really unbearable. And it's not only like the hot flashes, but it's like how everybody reacts to the hot flashes, which is very interesting.
First of all, show everybody the big lady fan.
You ladies are too young.
Look at that fan. Hold up that fan. Don't you make it look, you just make it look so chic.
Yeah, what a great idea. What a great idea, that fan. So yeah, these hormonal changes and shifts happen at all ages. Like, I don't know if we ever get a break, like from the time, from early adolescence all the way through. There's the whole premenopausal phase. I mean, how long is that, Right. And so, and the hormones really do affect our temperature. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm boiling hot. Are you hot? Are you hot? Because I'm trying to ascertain, like, is it me? Is it hormones? Am I crazy? Is everybody warm? What's going on here?
Right. It's terrible.
You know what? It's interesting. You said, I don't think we ever get a break. I teach middle school. I'm watching my girls go through their changes, and I'm like, I remember. It's like your body, it's just doing its own thing, and you're just looking at it like, what's happening to me?
So true.
And I always used to talk about it enough.
No, they don't. I always used to say I have one good week, one decent week out of the month. Like, seriously, it's so bad. And so now, like I said, I get these hot flashes, and it's so noticeable. Like, I literally, my face just starts sweating, and everybody's looking at me like, are you okay? And my kids, we were taping a show, and I had to take a break. I had one person was patting my, with a paper towel. One was fanning me. I mean, it's so bad. I don't know if I can't wait for it to stop.
I'm not at that stage yet, but I know I'm approaching, so I can't even talk about it. But I just remember, when I first started working, being in an office where all the women were going through menopause around the same time. I was like 21, and I'm watching them. Everybody's turning red. They're all sweating. And I'm like, what is happening? They would have the AC up. I'm freezing, like my little fingernails are cold. Like, what is happening? And they'll say, you'll see.
Don't mess with the room full of menopausal women. Oh, no.
Stay in my lane. I'm like, okay, just bring a couple of extra sweaters. When they were through it, don't touch that. Don't touch that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So if you feel like you need the air conditioner made cooler or the window open, those around you will listen when they see you getting warm like that, and you say you need it colder in the room. People will hop too.
Exactly. And I'm always I'm a cold person most of the time. And so this is kind of like new and weird. And then it'll stop. Like you said, your body just does crazy things. Like all of a sudden, the hot flashes just go away for a few months and then they come back. So it's just up and down, up and down. It's just, it's a struggle.
And you know what else I think gets affected by hormones? Sleep, big time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I wake up every hour on the hour at night.
Yeah.
Because I know like in the summertime when I get hot, I cannot sleep. I tried changing my mattress this summer. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, okay, I need a cooling mattress. I'm doing all this research to get a cooling mattress because the more muscle you carry, the hotter your body runs.
Okay.
And I knew that, but I didn't realize like how much I could not get enough sleep. I'm always sweating. So finally I got a cooling mattress. I'm all excited. I lay down on the thing. I'm like, this is not doing anything.
Oh no.
I call the company and they're like, I'm sorry, it doesn't do as much as you thought it would. I'm like, it's not doing anything. I could have said on the mattress. But they were really kind. They were able to, they refunded me my money actually. And they couldn't take the mattress back because we were in COVID.
So, wow.
Sorry. So I thought that was really, really nice of them to have.
So that's my problem. I have too much muscle. Thank you.
You feel better now. It's nothing else.
Keeps your metabolism revved.
Exactly. You're 22 with a lot of muscle. That's
right. So what else is going on?
So speaking of changes, as we've been speaking of, I've gotten super involved in tearing through my house, giving things away and donating things. Mm-hmm. And it is such an awesome feeling. So I'm just, I feel like sharing that with you because it's like an emotional release getting rid of this stuff. Having less stuff is kind of just where it's at,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And allows you to see what you have because you're cleaning out all that clutter. I don't like when I go into a closet and the closet's like this. Things are all tightly packed. But it feels so good when you're organizing. Your space feels clearer. You feel like I don't know about you, but I feel like when my space is open, I feel like I can think, I can breathe.
Yes.
I feel like the energy flows better in my space. So I love that spring cleaning, fall cleaning. I call it fall cleaning. Just get rid of it, let it go.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because Monday I actually had the opportunity to do some of that. So I went through I watch Marie Kondo. She has a Netflix show where it's called Tidying Up. And so she says you have to pull out all of your things and like your clothes, for example, just throw them on the bed and go through them. So I had the opportunity to do that. So I had like bags of shoes and clothes and I found some things that I didn't know were in my closet, which was a bonus.
Yeah, that's fun. That can be fun.
It's always fun.
Did it still have the tag on it?
Yeah, some things did, but what happened was, I'm just throwing it all out there. I had lost, a nice amount of weight during COVID. I put some of those pounds back on. So I thought I threw out all of my big clothes, but I didn't.
Oh yeah, yes, comfortable.
She's like, I got room. I'm not keeping all of them, but I
don't have to suck it in the whole day.
That's right. I was like, are you kidding me? Like I had about 5 pairs of pants. So I was like, that alone made my day.
You went shopping in your closet.
I went shopping in my closet.
Yeah. You didn't even have to wear a mask.
No.
You didn't have to wear.
That's right.
Leave the house. No, it's always good. And you start putting things together. Like, I didn't even know I had this. Where was
I didn't even know. So you know what? We're gonna take a quick break. We are, as always, having a great conversation. Make sure you like and share and comment, and we'll be back in a moment.
We are back. I'm Coach Heidi K, and you're watching Have You Heard on Rude Rangers Entertainment. We are having so much fun talking with my co-hosts, Verdel and Fitter Woman, Orlandina, and all of you guys out there. We thought we would talk with you a little about setting goals that kind of come to fruition, because we were just chit-chatting about changes in our life, and we're all about empowering and uplifting and creating that positive change. So how do we kind of set those goals that actually work, goals that actually happen, not goals that just swim around in our minds and dissipate somewhere out there in outer space? And so the first thing that I always recommend to my coaching clients is state your goal out loud and write it down. Power of the written word. So speaking your goal aloud, writing it down, you're already ahead of the game in manifesting the goal. Verdel, what do you think about those strategies?
I think, each person has their own way of reaching their goal and how they kind of think about it in their head. But writing it down is definitely a way to manifest it, to manifest that goal, I should say. For me, I'm not really a goal, I don't write my goals down. I'm more of I guess a thinker and a doer. Like, I'm very task oriented. So I think in those tasks, I have those goals wrapped up in there, and just making sure I hit those tasks at the points where I'm supposed to hit those tasks helps me to kind of achieve, my goals. And how many goals should you, what's the definition really of a goal? Because we always talk about goals, but is it a goal is it long-term goals or is it short-term goals? Like, how should people kind of categorize that, I guess I would say?
Yeah, so great question. When you have an action plan in place, I think is what really makes it a goal. Otherwise, it's kind of like a dream.
Right.
Dreams are great, but when you want to bring a dream to fruition and you create an action plan and kind of step by step, as we all talk about so much here, taking things in baby steps. So breaking that goal down into tiny doable chunks. So it's like the vision that you're working towards. But when you do it in a structured way, you're really getting there rather than daydreaming.
Right.
So let's see. So that's just some initial thoughts about goals. Now, something really important is setting our goals in a very specific and measurable way. So when we set goals that are vague, that is a recipe for having them not happen. So what do I mean by that? I kind of mean it's the difference between a vague goal of, I'm going to exercise more this week. Okay. What does that really mean? How are you going to do it? And how are you going to be able to celebrate your success? As opposed to, as if I say, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times this week in the morning. Mm-hmm. Now we've got a really specific goal that we can kind of, really work towards. And we're going to know very clearly if we did it or we didn't. And when you have something clear to work towards, it really helps with motivation and follow through. Orlandina, you're back. Did you hear me about my measurable and specific goals?
I agree. I believe that when you set, I believe in what you both ladies are saying. So it's a matter of setting a plan. So when you say measurable goals, when you make a plan, you say, this is my goal. I want to, save $5,000 by the end of the year. So I've set my goals. Now my plan of action lead me to that goal. I'm going to save $100 a week. I'm going to save $200 a week. I'm going to save money and I'm going to, do a side job or, do something, but I'm creating a series of steps as opposed to just saying, I'm going to have $5,000 by the end of the year. But like you said, you set a plan of action. So that way now you can measure that. Are you saving? Are you, how much do you have now? And before, I fell into the world of the Wi-Fi. The thing is, when you are able to measure and you're able to see this accumulation or these steps towards your goals, it motivates you because you're like, I'm getting closer, I'm getting closer, I'm getting closer. Because without these steps, it becomes a wish. It's just a wish. I wish to have $5,000 because you don't have a plan of action behind it. So that, I think those are really important when you're setting goals.
Right. And I think people do it their own. Like I was saying, I have a certain way of kind of achieving the goals. And I don't know why. I just don't find myself necessarily writing them down. And I think it's just my personality. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I say it and I do it. It's just because I have those action steps, like you said.
You have those. I have to write. I like to write it, but like you, I have to speak it.
Yeah.
Because when you speak it, I feel like it gets into my DNA.
Yes.
Speak it, and I think about it every day. I like you said, before, I believe you, I don't know if you guys were able to answer that question, but how many goals should you set? I said about 3 to 5 within a specific window, but then you can have several throughout the year. Then you have 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But I like to write it because then I can see it and then I speak it because I feel like you speak energy into it. And I then you can give birth to that particular goal. So I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's great that, each of you kind of know yourself and know what works for you to bring your goals to fruition. And that's why you're such, accomplished, powerful women, because so much of it is self-awareness and knowing what works for you. You started to talk before about how many goals. So I like to think of it as kind of having a goal going in each aspect of your life, your family and relationships, your career, your personal development, your spirituality, different aspects of your life in that way. But what I find over and over that happens is once you start meeting with success in one aspect of your life, one goal that you set, you set those tiny baby steps and then you keep on building on them, that success will spill over into all of the other aspects because you start building your belief in that success and building that confidence. So that really works.
Right. You could do it.
Absolutely.
You could do it. But and as well as when you set them specifically. So my coaching clients and my workshop participants, they know me as the specificity officer. Okay. So I'm not letting you out of here with a vague goal. You have to state it in specific terms. If you think about it, if your employer gives you a vague goal, you don't know what to do. You give your employees a vague goal, they don't know what to do. Your children, I want you to do better in school. What does that mean? It means each night you're going to do each homework assignment that's on your pad and show it to me. Now you've got something specific happening, What do you think about vague goals and how they affect you? Orlandina, what happens for you when they're vague?
I'm such a goal-oriented person, and I'm a task force that I need to have things in front of me. You can't just say, do your best. I work best when I have specific goals. What does that mean, do my best? Because then I feel that I'm working with clarity, I'm working with the vision. I don't mind you telling me your overall goal, but even if you give me an overall goal, then I got to work backwards and say, okay, how am I going to get to that overall goal? I need to obtain this. And you have to be very direct, because then that is what you manifest. When I think of my students, if I tell them I need you to do better, they, in their minds, they'll say, I am doing better.
Right.
But what does that mean? I need you to study 15 minutes every night. I need you to do, like you said, your assignments, because the more specific you are, the more they're able to achieve that goal. So the more specific we are, the better able. And I'm going to tell you, people like you that have to be, the specific person, I love it and hate it at the same time. I love it because I know the end result, but I hate it because you literally are teasing every strand of that goal. And even though I'm a task force, I'm definitely that big vision. I want that building. I'm going to build a skyscraper. What do you mean you're going to build this? I'm just telling you, I'm going to build a skyscraper. And here you come along, okay, Orlandina, now you build a skyscraper, you need a blueprint. I'm like, I do, and you need materials. I do, you need to hire people. Oh, man.
You really do need, you really do need both. You need the big vision and the breaking past limitations and anything's possible. Right. And then you need to roll up your sleeves and get there and
get down to it.
Verdel, you're nodding a lot on that one.
I'm definitely that big, at my job, I have, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then I say to, the people that are on the team, let's say, you got to figure this out because this is what I want. This is the goal. I'll be there to help you and support you to make sure that the goal happens, but I'm going to give you some of that flexibility and leeway to figure it out because this is a team. So you need to be part of the team, even though, and the vision is not only my goal, it's for the betterment, and I work in education, it's for the betterment of our community or our students, and I want something done. So I'm like, it's gonna get done. I don't know how it's gonna get done, but we're gonna do it. So I'm kind of like, I'm the kind of person that, does things and asks for forgiveness later kind of person.
Love it. So, in relationships as couples, in dating, any of those, the more specific you can be with your partner or potential partner, the better you're set up for success. No one's a mind reader. So, be specific about what you need and want, and then you have a chance of getting it delivered, right?
I totally agree with that, but that is like so uncomfortable. You are so right, Coach K. I mean, you are absolutely right. But I believe that it leads to such uncomfortable conversations that people need to have.
Yeah, we will have to continue this discussion because we have to take a commercial break right now. You're all watching Have You Heard on Rude Rangers Entertainment. I hope you're sharing, commenting. We want to respond to you and talk all about it. For now, we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back with more Have You Heard.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com, KeishaGems.com.
Hey fam, welcome back to Have You Heard? And I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts, Coach Heidi K and Verdel Jones of Conversation with Verdel Jones. So ladies, we've been talking about changes, we've been talking about cleaning house, and we've been talking about goal setting. And I think this all goes into what has been on my heart for the past couple weeks. And it's really about how are we doing with the goals that we've set thus far? I know that we set goals, but have you taken the chance to revisit the goals that you set and to see how you're doing with them? Because a lot of times we set goals for ourselves, we kind of fall off and we feel guilty, we feel bad, and then we just kind of keep going off without saying, let me look back, let me see why it didn't work or why did I come off track? So, weight loss goals, that's one that people set for themselves a lot. And with COVID and everything going on, a lot of people fell off of that goal. And a lot of them blamed stress and everything that was going on. But now that things opened up, did they go back to that goal, or did they just kind of say, I'm already done, let me start over at another time? So those are the things I'm like, do people actually take the opportunity and take the time to revisit goals that they set for themselves to see why they haven't achieved it? It's great when you achieve it, but why you haven't achieved it.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of like what got in the way, what blocked you, what didn't work, and really have it set up so that you have a check-in with yourself. Sometimes it's kind of built into the process, like with weight loss. If you agree to weigh yourself each week at a certain day at a certain time, but then when you stop doing that, then what? I think an important key with this is being kind to ourselves. Okay, so there's no point in assessing your progress only to beat yourself up. And, I've certainly been there and done that with various goals, So we're not machines, we're people. There are a lot of factors. And yes, we want to be very focused and we want to be specific with our goals and time oriented and all that. But life happens and we need to be kind with ourselves and just, sort of pick ourselves up again and give ourselves that encouragement that we can start over. It does, just because we didn't reach the goal that time or we fell off, we can get back on, right?
Absolutely. That's the beauty of life. Tomorrow is a new day.
Yes.
A new beginning. You wipe the slate clean and start all over again. There's no harm in that. And I love what you said, Heidi. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just do better. That old saying, when you know better, you do better. And I think that's just a life lesson for you. And there's going to be bumps in the roads and things that take you off track. But that doesn't mean that you can't start over again. Tomorrow's a new day.
And I agree, because I think what happens is people think that they have to be perfect. We have to be perfect all the time, and we're not. We can't be. We're, like you said, we're not machines, we're human. Yes. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have things. Life gets in the way, things happen. And it's okay if you fell off track, because sometimes you needed to fall off track to see that there were other roads and other choices around that you wouldn't have seen had you not fallen off track. So sometimes falling off track is not such a bad thing. Sometimes it's a great way for you to slow down and kind of see what else is around you, so that now when you get back on track, you've got even more tools around you. But I feel like people see things and they think they have to be perfect the entire time. And one of the things that I share with people, I'm like, strive for excellence. And I don't mean perfection. When you strive for excellence, that means you give your best as much as you can. You can strive for perfection. You can go for perfection, but try to obtain it. But that shouldn't be your ultimate goal. The ultimate goal should always be strive for excellence, shoot for perfection, but strive for excellence. And like you said, be kind. Right. Sometimes I set goals and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And then that day comes, I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I just sit there and I watch Netflix. I don't often do it, but I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, I should have done this. I had the time. I should have done. And I start doing that to myself. I say, wait a minute. You're a human being. You're not a machine. It's okay to be like, I don't feel like doing anything. It's all right. It's okay. But I have to go back and forth with myself with that.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. I mean, you probably needed that. You needed that opportunity to sit and just do something totally, watch TV all day. Maybe you needed a break. I think our bodies kind of tell us things that we need. Our mind tells us one thing, but our bodies tell us other things, and you need to kind of honor that at times.
Yeah. And sometimes there's something else in your life that needs to take priority.
Right.
And those are can be wise, good, powerful decisions that we make when we need to shift.
Right.
That doesn't mean just, abandon ship on your goal. You can get back to it. But when something else needs to be prioritized, that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that's the other thing we should add, it's okay to reshuffle and prioritize your goal. And then sometimes you got to take a goal and put it on the back burner.
Right.
Okay, you wanted to buy a house this year and it's just not working out right now. It's okay to say, you know what, let me just put this on the back burner. But I think people feel like it's a disappointment. But no, it's okay. Put that on the back burner. Put something else on the front burner.
Yeah.
And you'll revisit it.
Yeah. And it's not always about getting to the goal specifically. Sometimes it's about what progress did you make towards it, So it's not all or nothing. What progress did you make towards it? So maybe you didn't reach a certain career goal that you had set for yourself, but along the way, you learned things. You learned what worked and what didn't. You made strides. You pushed yourself. You didn't do nothing. What did you do? You pushed yourself, 60% of the way, but not 100%. So you want to celebrate those those successes along the way to the ultimate goal.
Right. Everything's a learning process,
Yeah.
And through life, you're always going to learn lessons. And like I was saying before, sometimes you need that. You need to do that because there is a lesson to be learned in that moment, in that process.
Yeah. What did you learn about yourself going through it? Maybe you learned something that you can really take forward that can change, that can change your life.
And empower you, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it makes you an even better or stronger person when you go back to that goal again. Because it's, I like that saying, fail forward. So even if you're failing forward. Yeah. Because while that fall is happening or while that failure is happening, as you both ladies said, was, I'll pick up things along the way. I can pick up different things along the way. So now when I go back to that goal, not only am I coming to that goal again as the person that I was, but now an enhanced person, more knowledge, more skills, more information, more connections than I would have had I not fallen, had I not had to take a pause and then revisit that goal. So I think that I would love for people to understand that you can set goals for yourself. You set a plan of action to obtain those goals. It is okay to shuffle those around. Should life get in the way, it's okay to press the pause button. It's okay to be like, okay, not yet. Put things on a back burner. And sometimes goals have to be taken off the table altogether because it's not for you at that moment.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you ladies know I coach a lot of people going through divorce, and that's a perfect example of you've got to rethink your goals. Sometimes you had these goals and dreams and visions with another person for a lifetime together, and then that's not going to come to fruition. You need to take your time to sort of mourn and grieve the loss of that goal, that dream, that vision, but then it's a new day. So what are your new goals, and what are the opportunities to seize now?
That's a great point. Great point.
This is good. I could talk about this forever. It's so important to everyone. But we have to go to our commercial break. So please, everybody, remember to click, share, comment. We'd love to interact and see what you have to say about goal setting. What goals have you set? What goals have you set aside? What goals, totally blew you out of the water? So we'll be back soon.
dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com, KeishaGems.com.
Welcome back to Have You Heard, a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. Thank you so much for joining us. I am here with my lovely co-hosts, Coach Heidi K and the fitter woman, Orlandina. So we're going to change up the conversation a little bit. And I wanted to kind of get into the conversation, or the topic, I should say, related to code switching. I've had several conversations the past few days related to code switching. So what is code switching? And I'm gonna read something here just so you get kind of a broad, definition of it. Code switching involves adjusting one style of speech, appearance, or behavior and expression in ways that will optimize the comfort of others in exchange for fair treatment, quality service, or employment opportunities. So a lot of times when you hear code switching, it was very interesting. I had a conversation with our son a while back, and I was talking about code switching. And so at my job, I'm the only Black woman at my place of employment. And I remember, saying to myself, I have to morph into someone else so others feel more comfortable with me. I don't want to perpetuate a stereotype. I don't want to be that angry Black woman. I want to make sure that I'm even keel and I give the appearance and I'm representing everyone. So I need to make sure I'm on my best behavior because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. And, I get so good at it that, I really don't even know who I am anymore. Who is the real Verdel Jones? And so, like I said, I had this conversation with my son, and he mentioned that, women a lot of times have to do that in general, not just Black women, but all women. And I said, because I thought we had the market on code switching.
Yeah.
Because when you're in your own cipher, you think you have the market on that, but that's not necessarily true. So I just want to kind of get, I want to bring this conversation to you to kind of, talk a little bit about it and your experiences with that type of thing. So whoever wants to jump in, go ahead.
I was blown away when I heard that, because I've never thought of code switching in terms of gender. You hear code switching in terms of ethnic groups, culture, racial groups, trying to fit into a particular group, but I've never thought about it for women. And I think we do code switch. We either make ourselves a little bit more meek. We are a very strong energy, a strong personality. So we'll try to make ourselves more meek so that the men feel more comfortable, or we have to make ourselves more masculine and almost take out our femininity because that femininity is seen as weak.
Right.
One of the statements that I think is one of the most beautiful thing about women, but has been taken and turned, and I think because of this code switching, when they say, women, you're so emotional. And when I hear that statement, I'm like, thank you. I am emotional. I said, because that's my superpower. That's how I can tell if you're annoyed. That's how I can tell if you're hungry. I can read you with my emotions. But it has been taken and turned around to make it seem like a point of weakness. So we as women, we try to turn it around and be like one of the boys. I don't want to be one of the boys, but you want to act like one of the boys in the boardroom. So that's just fascinating.
Right.
And your son that came up this.
He sure did. He sure did.
Yeah, that was Really insightful, really insightful. I think it's so on point around women. I find a lot for myself and so many of my clients, I've given workshops on this, that as women, we feel like we need to say yes to things, even when we really want to say no. And I'm talking about, taking on extra tasks at work, taking on extra responsibilities at home. Why do we do it? There's a million reasons, but one of them is to make other people more comfortable. So we're kind of sacrificing sometimes our own well-being, because it's somehow so important to us and so ingrained in us that we have to say yes and we have to do it. We have to do everything because it'll be too hard for this person, it'll be too much for that person. And maybe if I don't do it, they'll be annoyed, or I won't be as accepted, or I won't fit in, I won't have my role anymore.
Right.
So these are kind of heavy things that we experience as women.
It really is. It really is.
Tough habits to break.
Yes. And I think, some of it also has to do with women having to dim their light. So they can't shine bright because it will offend individuals. It will offend men because we can't do that. So even in relationships, you see a lot of women that dim their light so their husband can shine. So it's so you not only in the workspace, because that's really how I, kind of the code switching, how I kind of relate to that more so. But even in relationships, you see women that really have to not live their authentic selves because they have to make others feel comfortable, even in relationships.
Yeah, I kind of felt, after I got divorced and before I got remarried, when I was in the dating world, I kind of felt like a chameleon, and I think a lot of women feel that way, I'm almost embarrassed to admit that when I would go out with somebody, I would have my way of chameleoning into what's going to be right for that person. And I did notice about myself, and I wasn't pleased with it, but somehow I found myself often doing that, to some degree.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, because the thing is, and it's funny you say it like that, because as women, because I found myself doing the same thing when I was dating or out there dating, you kind of fall into it because we're taught not to rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. So you call it, it's conforming. You're conforming to whatever is there. But we've spun it around and make it seem like, I just want to, be calm. I want to match his energy and match his situation. When in truth, you're not matching anything. You're completely changing yourself to conform and be a chameleon and take part in this person's energy. But meanwhile, this person's able to be their full, authentic self.
Right.
No problem.
And it's often the guy that's being the full, authentic self, and the woman, painting herself different colors to make it work. What?
Yes.
And you're perpetrating a fraud, as they used to say back in the day.
Yeah, bending myself into a pretzel, and it took, a ways down the journey to sort of discover that I need to stop doing that, it's easy to slip back into it. And what you were mentioning about being emotional, and that stereotype of women. I find when women do need to say no, we can't just do it, or we don't tend to do it matter-of-factly like a man. In other words, just no, that doesn't work for me.
Right. It's so true.
We either do it with a lot of emotional apology and a million excuses. Why are you giving every excuse and apology? It doesn't work.
It's so true.
I hear myself, giving all the reasons because, it's not because I'm mean and I don't want to help you. Of course I do, but I have this and I have that. So we either do it that way, or we have to get emotional with anger. I'm at my breaking point. No, I've had it and I'm not doing one more thing. But it's either extreme. It's either with a lot of apology or with anger. How about just calm, matter of fact? That doesn't work for me.
Right. It's so true. I have this discussion with Jeremiah all the time. And he's just say no. And I'm but I don't want to seem, and Like, just say no. It'll be fine.
Yes.
And that's very difficult, I think, for women to do. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, one of the so I was reading an article in reference to the cost of code switching and the emotional toll that takes on you. And like I said at the beginning, you know, I sometimes, you know, find myself like, who really am I? Because I've had to conform and change myself. I'm totally different at home than I am at work, which is, it's just very interesting. You, like, on a dime, you can, it's kind of strange. On a dime, you just shift and change. But in the article, it was an online article, and they had it was a scene of President Obama, and he was going through a line of people. And as he was going through a line of people, it was I think it was men, and he was, you know, he would shake, you know, hands proper if it was a white person. Once it was like another black man, he gave them the pound, and you know, it was just such an interesting like study that just on a dime he could change, because he that's part of what code switching is. You don't even realize what you're doing.
Wow. So that kind of shows when you're good at code switching, you can really get far. It kind of works in the world.
Right. But the thing is, there are positives to it and there are negatives. It's positive because it does allow you to get ahead more. But who's getting ahead? Is it you?
Right.
Is it your true you? Or is it the person that you've created? This personality, this person that you've created to fit this environment. And I think especially when it comes to that, who is showing up at that space? Who is showing up at that point? Is it you? Because just like you, Verdel, at work, I'm one person, and outside, I'm somebody else. I'm a fool. I'm funny. I love to laugh. I love to hang out. At work with my closer friends, I'm more myself, but I'm very, very reserved at work. I'm very conservative and very, very just like by the book, da-da-da-da-da. But because of who I am and my energy, I'm always trying to make sure that I don't, come in like,
You know, somehow it's reminding me, I don't know if you are Jerry Seinfeld fans. Do you watch Seinfeld reruns and all that?
Yeah.
So there's one episode about worlds collide. You know, you don't want, George was saying he doesn't want his worlds colliding. Like, you've got his friend world and then this world, you know, and that's kind of what we're talking about, because we're a little bit different in each world. And if worlds collide, then like, which one are we going to be and who are we? And disaster.
You know, and another thing about that, which I thought was interesting, because I was talking about this with one of my friends at work, and I was telling her that I am totally different in front of my parents than I am with my husband and my kids. Like, I'm very silly, and I can be very silly with them. What with my parents, they have never seen me as a silly adult.
Wow, interesting.
Right. You're
well, they
right.
have to watch the show then.
I know. Those worlds colliding. It's so it's fascinating. It really is how we change, you know?
Because on one point you're like, it's great because that means you're flexible in whatever given situation. But then you're like, well, who am I? Who is the true essence of me? And like Heidi said, you know, it's either if I want to say no, I've learned to say no. I've never been that person to be out there and angry when I want to say no, because my mom always said, as a woman, you have to be in control. That's what she always told us. So even when you're angry, you must be in control. So I could be angry, like I'll go into a closet, and then when I come out, this is my demand. This is what I request. This is what I want. No, you know. But in the back of in some side room of my car, I'm like, you know,
keep it under wraps.
Under wraps because
this is. I love this discussion. I love all our discussions. They are empowering and insightful, and they also entertain. So, you know, we're gonna wrap it up for today. But before we go, I want to ask Coach Heidi, what kind of resonated with you today in our conversations?
Wow, so much resonated with me. So much did. I'll tell you a thought that I'm just having right now. both of you are thinking that you kind of at times are conforming, in our last discussion. But I bet if I saw you each in each of your roles at work with your families, I would see a common thread of your energy. Yeah, I really do.
Good point.
Because you are both really sincere, authentic people, and that's definitely going to come through in all of your environments. So it just hit me. It's just very complex because we are conforming in a way, but then also our authentic energy comes through. And I have no doubt about that for you too.
I love that. And where can people reach you, Heidi?
So I'm Coach Heidi K on Facebook and on Instagram. Join my Facebook group, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K, and come on over and listen to my podcast, same name, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. My website is reinventionlifecoaching.com. Reach out and let's stay in touch.
Nice. And Orlandina, what kind of resonated with you today?
You know what? In our conversations today, I feel that it's okay to be my true authentic self. And not to have to code switch, because I've noticed that conversation's been coming up a lot for me lately. So it was interesting that you brought that up today. And I was speaking to somebody else like that. I said, I find sometimes that I have to kind of shrink myself so that I don't come off to what I think I'm fine, but I think maybe somebody feels that it's overpowering, overwhelming. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's okay. It's okay to show up as my true authentic self, not being a chameleon, being my true authentic self, whoever I am. So I'm gonna walk out with that today, and I love that because I think I needed to hear that. So
right, absolutely. And how can people reach out to you?
Oh, you can find me at thefitterwoman.com on my website, but you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, again, at The Fitter Woman.
All right. And you know what, today, what resonated with me is the fact that I love having conversations with both of you because I learned something, and we were talking about lessons before, and everything is, you learn if you don't achieve your goal, you're still learning. And I know that I'm meant to be in this place at this time to learn what I have learned. And every single time we have this conversation, I take a piece of it with me, and it makes me a better person. So I want to honor and thank both of you for giving that to me.
Namaste.
Yes.
You're going to make us cry, Verdel.
I know, right?
And, I'm Verdel Jones, and you can go to my website, verdeljones.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Deli Teach. And you can also find me on Facebook, Conversations with Verdel Jones, and also Let's Kick It with the Joneses on Instagram and also on Twitter as well, all the social medias. And I just want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you like and share. We're really having some great conversations. And again, I appreciate both of you. And, we're going to say goodbye.
Bye.